Hello and welcome to Joy News Prime in our headlines. NDC in race against time to set aside court process halting its planned presidential and parliamentary primaries after Electoral Commission announced it will not be supervising the polls. So will Dr. Kwabena Duffuor back down? I feel used and let down by my nation after 38 years of service. Retired Commodore of the Ghana Armed Forces laments the non-payment of bonds as he joins the third day of fresh picketing by the Pensioner Bondholders Forum. Also, over 4,000 students out of school in the Katamanso cluster of schools due to the dilapidated nature of the school building.
My ability to study is not going on well because, as you know now, the building is vibrating and there is no way we can move there to learn.
The students say the state of the classroom block is affecting their preparations for the upcoming BC. My name is Samuel Kojo. Uncertainty surrounding the NDC primary is set to come off in barely 72 hours as the Electoral Commission says it will not supervise the event scheduled for Saturday, May 13, until all legal issues associated with it are resolved. According to the EC, going ahead to organize the primaries will be disrespecting the judiciary since it amounts to a contempt of court. The EC made this known on Wednesday, May 10, after it met agents of all the three flag-bearer hopefuls of the NDC. We'll bring you details of that later. First, let's hear from some of the people who were at the meeting today. Kofi Kukubo is a member of Dr. Duffuor's campaign team.
It's a very short meeting, a meeting of information from the Electoral Commission that they have been served with a writ, so they cannot conduct the election. That's the communication. So until the case is determined in court, they cannot conduct the elections.
So the EC has declared to you that because of the court's case, they will not be able to conduct the elections?
Yes, otherwise they will be cited for contempt of court.
So who were the parties involved in the meeting? All
the stakeholders, the elections committee, the national chairman, Asedun Ketia, John Mahama's representative, Kojo Bonsu's representative, then Dr. Kwabena Duffuor's representatives.
So are you satisfied with the response from the Electoral Commission? Is this what you were looking for?
It's not about us being satisfied. What we are looking for is a credible voter register. So the communication from UC is just to tell us that because of the court case, they cannot conduct the elections.
So you are confirming to us that the election has hit a snag. You can't have it this weekend.
I'm saying that according to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, because of the court case, until the case is determined, they cannot conduct the elections for NDC, the presidential primaries and the parliamentary primaries. They cannot conduct it.
Did you talk about the register? Did you talk about it at all? The EC just informed you?
Yes, just informed us. Because of the court issues, they will not be able to conduct the elections.
So what next? What are you going to do?
Well, we are waiting for the party. I mean, things are in the process, so we are waiting for them to unfold. There's nothing else for us to do, unless we wait for the unfolding of the process that has been activated.
Now, I'm joined in the studio by head of our political desk here at Joy News, Evans Mensah, with details of a letter released by the Electoral Commission explaining the reason behind their decision. Now, Evans, what are the details of this letter we're getting?
So the Electoral Commission has written formally now to the party's General Secretary, communicating formally to them that they will be unable to supervise the elections come Saturday, obviously because they explain in there they don't want to be in contempt of the court on the back of the application that they have now been served with. Another thing we learned today, and this was what we learned from our sources within the meeting between the EC chairperson and the other commissioners and the representatives of the NDC. There was a national chairman himself was there, and the reps of the various presidential aspirants were also in this particular meeting. That apparently before today, Dr. Kwabena Dufour's camp had written a petition directly to the Electoral Commission complaining about violations of the NDC's own guidelines governing the process going forward. We learned that the EC had had several meetings with the NDC's election committee and as part of the planning process. And these joint meetings agreed on setting ground rules and the guidelines. The most important guideline, which now has been breached from what we are learning from the camp of Dr. Kwabena Dufour, was an agreement that 7 days, at least 7 days before the primaries, the parties involved, the various aspirants, will be given a copy of the voters' register. If you believe what the camp of Dr. Kwabena Dufour has been saying, which means that that particular agreement has been breached.
Yeah.
And the EC attention was drawn to this by the Dr. Kwabena Dufour's team in this formal petition to them. So they had actually called today's meeting to address the concerns in the petition they had received from Dr. Kwabena Dufour. You get it?
Okay.
But then yesterday evening, they got this court process served on them. And so today's meeting then became, okay, we were going to sit and address the concerns in a petition, but because of this court process that has been served on us, we can't even talk about it anymore. So go, deal with the court issues, and then return to the Electoral Commission for us to proceed.
We understand the party, after that particular meeting with the Electoral Commission, has made moves to ensure that they get the court to deal with the matter. What do we know of that?
So originally, this process, the interlocutory injunction application, has been scheduled to be heard on Monday. That would have been a whole day and a half, possibly, after the original date for the conference, which meant there was no way they could have gone ahead on Saturday. So the party today have had their lawyers camping at the courts, trying a desperate measure, trying to get the courts to hear them and give them an earlier date, which is this Friday. So they've just succeeded in doing that. So they've succeeded now in getting the court to bring forward the hearing date for this interlocutory injunction application to Friday. That will be done. It is the hope of the lawyers that in this particular hearing, they can convince the court that the processes that have been filed is frivolous and does not deserve the court's time. If they're successful, of course, then the primaries will go ahead. But if they are not, then we will not have a primary.
Interesting development coming up. What about the Dufour camp? With all that is going on, do we know what their next strategy is?
So the Dufour camp say they are not opposed to the earlier date for hearing of the case, so they will go in on Friday and make their case. But they are going to be firm in court that the process going into the primary has been flawed, it's not been transparent, it will produce an election that is not free and fair, and it will injure the interests of the 300,000 plus delegates across the country. That's the argument they're going to be making in court on Friday. All right, grateful to you. Evans Mensah is head of the political desk here at Joy News. Let's cross over to the Ododo constituency, who are here in Greater Accra region, where Joy News reporter Parkwesi Shandov is standing by with some constituents. Parkwesi, take it away from me.
Well, Eba. All right, Brace, I'm here at Bukom in the Ododo constituency, where I've been speaking to some constituents with respect to their reactions towards the ongoing development in the National Democratic Congress. All of them actually initially were looking forward to, the primaries on Saturday, but given the current controversies, they are very much concerned. Earlier, we spoke to the popular boxer Brahma Kamoko Bukom Banku, who said that John Mahama should be allowed to contest unopposed, and that alone is enough to settle all the controversies. But we have some of the sympathizers of the NDC here who also share similar sentiments. Saturday about vote because of Bimoni your party. Miniji Odremo.
Sana menya mengme kuna abutu because mama lady money be me fen tawule no amenyo na meni kele ba contest as na me share me ale kuni le no ye ko because lady monali le ododo bi fen won sule agasa ne ba ni e ba dumo se wo pa me fa ko na me ngme ko ni Saturday na anya ni abotu shi no onu eja ka ke atiato ni won pa me fa ke shi amengme ame papa le ko ni papa le eja ke lady meni wo kele ya ni won pa me fa ka me ngme ame ale ye nu wo wale na wo le ake ba yi
she menyo ni nye party Democratic Party ni engbe ake pi anye ame ba ke shama menta ogbena e wo mi ne wo nye fen efet mo nye fen nye hia Mahama pese
no ni wo yen se janga shi papa le ko kwele ona ke etuni odogba shi ni bi community no ni sai wo sane NDC bi fa me fe komi shi mi na ge mene ma me to ame ka me yin abaton bi fe be na ba ya le papa le no di mo ni ba nye yi ni man bi fe ntawle e janga ni bi efiti ni bi ya no be na ba we bi ba ke man bi e je na kan wo bi ane wo na ge mama no di mo ni ba nye ba wo smo ni mama aba no no tawo
o fa me jogbe
atom David.
Okay, so what David effectively has been saying is that the two other contenders, I'm talking about Kojo Bonsu and Dr. Kobna Dufour, are competent. However, they do not have the gravitas to lead the NDC into victory in 2024. There is another sympathizer here who also has been expressing his concerns. Ewo bonhu o Dwemoji Akeshim Mahama pe.
Fane once more mama le no smoni ake ba ake ingbe fele ake mama beki bibi opo kobile po ba ake mama mo fia mo jelen fele ake mama ni mama e ba skome e wini e ba shenyo awile shete no ne ba mo fe mo lele won so ni mama le no e ba onye ka e chonwo chonshiko mama le no osmo ota wo mugomugombo no onu pa fe no na me fi ofen am fi amashi amashi amia mama ko check beki bibi opo e ba kwa ake mama onu pa won pa me fai ni okpa me fa fe loko she won to ni mama le no no ne ba twa no manya ba
she biane easy biane efetumo mekumeni your party emi Kobna Dufour ke Kojo Bonsu we bi ameke court injunction in term no mini jodwemo ye no
face no no kama ke bi ene bu konfie fe mu fia mo mama ale bokomukomuko no ameshini amia no mo ko check be bi bo mama ele bi fe bu ko era nu ofe mo fi am mama wole mu gomgomgo no onu gba no na me fi ofe am fi am ajo amejo mo na mo fi ofe ko me wo mama ajo mo shi ko check be mo bo e ke mama no onu gba won pa me fa wa na me shi ni
she be sakas an election say na ba fear if transparent if credible if it mo ni bi ya fe wrong few no an injunction e ba o ko no begbe no
o wo fa ne no le won pa me fa no na me get Saturday afo mi won gba me fa won so ni Saturday avote ni ashin ni mama mo fi omole won gba me fa Saturday won so ni aba no mama wole mu gomugo mama mo fi am mama wole won gba me fa.
So the point he's been making effectively is that John Dramani Mahama is the only individual who all of them here are actually rooting for. Please, the name again.
Oh, my name is Ni Ayi, alias right now, Cecilia.
So your thoughts as well. Bon oye na kan dwemo no alo bon ko kwe akọ Kojo Bonsu alo Kobna Dufour.
Mika na akọ Kambran before John Mahama no aba. Aja ke ba ikole Islam ke tie e ba chanu ke simple nwe ba chanu. No, I believe Almighty God inshallah by 2024 John Mahama ba win total. Aja ke mi indebie shi mi dadranka shi adranka ni dem mama se fe am a fe end this total. Now I believe that 2024 John Mahama ba win total.
All right, so effectively, by way of summing up their sentiments, what they have been saying conclusively is the fact that they are rallying massively behind former President John Dramani Mahama, and they are making the point that the two other contenders, I'm talking about Kojo Bonsu and Dr. Kobna Dufour, do not have that political gravitas and the clout to lead the National Democratic Congress. Therefore, they feel that Mahama should be given the nod, irrespective of the current conversations about the injunction. Brace.
Well, so that's my colleague Parkwesi Shandorf from that constituency. Still on the NDC, the party's key contender for the flag bearer position, John Dramani Mahama, has been touring the Upper West region. Here is a report from Rafiq Salam.
Former President John Dramani Mahama wrapped up his first day campaign tour of the Upper West region at the West Central Constituency, where he interacted with the over 1,800 delegates who will be taking part in the party's primaries on Saturday. He stated that all signs favor the return of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, return to power. However, what the party needs is a healthy majority in parliament to enable it to deliver on its mandate upon assumption of power. He noted that cannot be achieved without unity in the party. He therefore urged the four aspirants for the party's primary and their supporters not to see each other as enemies but as a family contest. John Dramani Mahama then chided at the Akufo-Addo administration for having no clue in the management of the country's economy. He averred that the biggest group of disappointed people in the country now are supporters of the ruling New Patriotic Party, NPP.
They have no clue where they are going. And those who are more disappointed in this country than anybody else is the NPP people themselves. The NPP people themselves are more disappointed than anybody else. Because the government has been hijacked by a few family and friends. And it's like football. If your relative is not inside, they'll never pass the ball to you. And so the time has come, my brothers and sisters, for us to rise up and rescue our country.
The former president earlier in the day was at the Muse constituency where he rolled out plans of fighting corruption should he be given the nod in the 2024 polls.
Any person, whether in my government or outside my government or in the previous MPP government, if the anti-corruption institutions are dealing with you, that is your business. Because we must save this country. This country is not for a few people. It's for all of us. And we need to build it so that we can leave a legacy for our children and our grandchildren. And I can assure you, we're up to the task and we're going to deliver a better standard of governance than MPP have ever delivered. We're going to teach Ghanaians that government can be far better than what they are seeing today.
He also made a stopover at the Laura Senior High School where he met delegates and supporters of the party.
When NDC was in government, we knew free SHS was going to increase the student numbers. And that's why we started building the E-blocks, so that we could get more space in the secondary schools for children. And then aside from that, on all the campuses, we started building dormitories, administration blocks, dining halls, classroom blocks, and all that. After we left office, they took the debt fund, went and mortgaged it to build 16 STEM secondary schools. And all the projects we were building, the E-blocks, the projects in the secondary schools have come to a standstill because they don't have money to pay the contractors. And so today there's not enough dormitory space. And so the children are packed like sardines in the dormitories. Today, the quality of food that we feed the children is so poor. I can see that some of my children are here. These are in the whole globe. The quality of food we are feeding our children is poor, is not good. And if a child does not eat properly in the morning and goes and sits in class, what can they study? What can they learn?
Now, still on the NDC, one of the constituencies where the National Democratic Congress parliamentary will have a fierce contest is the Lambusie constituency. The contest is between former General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Titus Kofi Beyo, former Member of Parliament Edward Ka Ewola Derry, and research scientist Dr. Emmanuel Kambam Panyang. Joy News' Upper West Regional correspondent Rafiq Salam takes a closer look at the contest and report from Lambusie.
Democratic Congress flag bearer hopeful John Dramani Mahama began his two-day campaign tour of the Upper West region at Tumu, capital of the South East constituency. He interacted with the 837 delegates drawn from 96 branches of the party that will be voting at the party's presidential and parliamentary primaries on Saturday. The delegates, clad in the party's paraphernalia and over 2 dozen blown vuvuzela happy supporters, the auditorium of the Tumu College of Education was full to the rafters. Former President John Dramani Mahama used the occasion to introduce the trio aspiring to represent the party in the 2024 polls, urging them and their supporters to put the primaries behind them once a victor emerges in the Saturday polls, and then went in for the jugular of the new Patriotic Party and President Akufo-Addo.
In 2016, all the lies they told, all the propaganda they told, Ghanaians can now see the truth. All the preaching, Yetisikasu, Ekomdeye, and all that, Ghana, Yemo, and all those things. I mean, we are now even more mobile today than in 2016. Any work anybody does, you hardly get any profit. I can beat my chest and say that in 2016, when MDC was in power, our lives were far better than they are today. So I can assure you, all the predictions, all the opinion polls show that NDC is coming back into office.
He reiterated earlier plans made on the need to complete all projects started by the NDC and now being abandoned by the MPP.
All over, you go to our schools, you go to all our districts, and there are projects that government started that have been abandoned. There are some that are ongoing, but because they are not paying the contractors are not on site. We were building a lot of roads. When they came, they asked them to stop. They asked them to go back, but they are not paying the contractors, so the work is not going fast. So what we'll do is we're not going to be in a hurry to start new projects. We're going to take an inventory of all the abandoned projects and ongoing projects, including their own. We're not going to just do ours. Including their own. The projects any projects they are working on now, I don't see many of them, but whatever they are working on, together with ours that they abandoned, the blocks, the hospitals and all that, we're going to continue and finish them before we start any new projects.
The former president later rolled out of town and headed west to Bolu, where he also interacted with delegates of the party in the Sasala West constituency.
The Sasala West constituency has 881 delegates drawn from 94 branches of the party. The delegates have resolved to not only give a resounding victory in Saturday's presidential primary, but will work to ensure that John Dramani Mahama is returned to power to continue with his good works as well. Leading the charge are the constituency chairman, Faisal Mahmood, and the member of parliament, Adam Suparu.
We know, and we are aware you can do the work. You have been on the seat before. You have an unfinished project that we are waiting on you to do.
Now, a former deputy national women's organizer of the party, Mami Efwasechi Edu, will be battling it out with 6 male aspirants in the Mfantsiman constituency. The contest is expected to be fierce, with the aspirant crisscrossing the constituency in a last-minute push to woo the delegate. But the only female contender in the race believes her resourcefulness and experience in the political space should produce the needed magic. Kojo has more in the following report.
The Mfantsiman constituency is a swing one. Whoever wins the seat more often has his or her party forming the government. 7 aspirants are all gearing up to get the nod from the delegates of the party in the upcoming primaries.
I want to invest in the delegates. I want the delegates to feel the impact of a good government. So what we are going to do is that we are going to have a delegate fund. First of all, I am going to make sure that I unify Mfantsiman. We have too many fragmentations here. We have too many camps, too many divisions. There's no unity here. Being a woman, being a mother, that is what I want to do. I want to bring Mfantsiman together. I want Mfantsiman to be unified. And once we start from there, everything else is possible.
Mahama Effuasichi Edu, the only female contender, says she has all it takes to pip the men in the contest.
Well, first of all, I want delegates to understand that when we come to them and talk to them, they are matured politicians and they should know who speaks the truth. They should also go for experience, because half the time people come and they are finding their feet, you know. But here I am. I have gone through that already. I'm not finding my feet. I understand where I am. I understand what I'm bringing them, and I know how to get it for them.
Apart from her, there are 3 others who are speculated to be the front runners in the contest.
They know what I've been doing to support the party from 2012 to now. So when I entered there, I was the last person, and they started giving testimonies of what I have been doing to support the party. And they were mentioning, you did this, you did this, you did this. I was just nodding and looking at them, and I said, yes, this is Andy Kofi.
Alfred Andy Kofi believes his works in the constituency should give him an edge over his competitors.
We've heard of your name, we've seen your good works, that is why you become an MP. And this is what came from the panel. You know, in everything, amongst the equals, there's always the best. So even if you were 1,000, don't forget that in the Bible, Jesse has 7 sons. David was the last one, and he was the promised son who became a king on a foreign land. So if you are 7, yes, it also means that NDC, we have the men. We have equal people that can equally do the work better. So yes, we are 7. I believe that God will choose 1, and that is Andy Kofi. When Andy Kofi wins, the 6 will come to join me to help NDC in Faanaa Central Region and Ghana to go forward.
Political watchers believe that Mahama Effuasichi Edu, who's been a national executive before, Alfred Andy Kofi, Dr. Ebenezer Prince Ahen, Kobina Main Samano are the favorites in the context. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kojo in Faanaa Constituency.
Welcome back from the break. Now, the last few weeks has seen power outages in parts of Accra. Areas such as La Paz, Abeka, McCarthy Hill, Malam Junction, part of Tema and Sakumono have all been affected, leaving residents worried and concerned about whether there is an ongoing load shedding exercise. ECG last month announced a similar exercise, but it lasted for only 2 weeks with stable power restored. So what exactly is happening now? Gridco says there is a shortfall in generation capacity resulting in the outages being experienced. Communications Director for Gridco, Jifa Bampo, joins us via Zoom now with more. Grateful that you could join us here. What is the challenge and what is causing the shortfall in power supply?
Good evening, Kojo, and thanks very much for the opportunity. First, I'd like to say sincere regret to Ghanaians, sincere apology for the regrettable experience of power outage. And I think some people had that yesterday, and a few people had that 2 days ago, so Monday as well. We sincerely apologize for that. The matter has come up because of a shortage in gas supply. That is at least over the last couple of days. So typically we get some 100 million standard cubic feet of gas from Ghana Gas through ENI Talo, and then we get something like 70 million standard cubic feet of gas and above from Nigeria. But the truth is that it varies from time to time, especially on the Nigerian side. So for today, for instance, we've received only 56 million standard cubic feet of gas. So what that means is that there's a shortfall in the fuel that you need to power our plants. So what it is that the generators, and these are hydro plants that don't need fuel, so they are okay. But then when you're talking about thermal plants, some of them use gas. In fact, a lot of them do use gas. And then there are some plants that combine. Some can use gas and some can use what we call the heavy fuel oils or liquid fuel oils. In local parlance, we may just say diesel. And so what then happens is when there's a shortage of gas, what we should have is enough stock supply of these fuels so that the plants that operate on gas but don't have gas can then operate on these fuels. But sometimes we run short or it's not enough. And that is why sometimes we fall into these regrettable challenges.
Okay.
So that is really the main reason.
What is being done now to ensure that this is, reversed?
What I know is that additional fuels are being procured. I know there's some effort to get some more gas coming in as well. But I think the main thing is we need to get the plants up and running, because what it is that it's a generation shortfall. So the plants that are generating, I'll give a simple example. The numbers are not for today, but let's say Ghana's Ghana's supply demand is like maybe 3,500 megawatts. And let's say today of all days, we didn't get enough gas. It means maybe we are getting only 3,000 megawatts. It means you have to shed a certain amount, which is the 500. Okay. But I must say that's not what happened yesterday, or that's not happening today. Today, we don't have a load management problem. So what then happens is WITCO, which is the transmitter, we play the middleman role. We transmit that 3,000, and we then inform our colleagues at ECG that this is what is available today. It means you have to undertake a program to manage this 500. And obviously, it will be visible. It will not disappear. Everyone will know. And that's what it is. I think what I admit is maybe, obviously, if there's going to be a challenge, even if it's for one day, we are obligated to inform Ghanaians. And I think maybe that's where we sincerely regret that we didn't do that, and people have suffered as a result.
Okay, so once you said there's no load shedding today, do we take it that that's it, is being solved and we're not going to see this? If we are going to see it, for how long will it persist?
Kojo, it's a bit hard to say.
Well, so unfortunately, the line is tripping a bit, but if you can hear me, I'm trying to find out from you that you said today that load shedding is not there. Does it mean that it has been solved? If not, how long do we expect this shedding off to persist? All right, so that's the communications manager for GridCo, Jifa Bampo there. Now, while government is doing all it can to eradicate schools under trees, thousands of junior high school JHS 3 students of Pong Katamanso Municipal Assembly cluster of schools at Zenu have deserted their classrooms to study under trees. This is due to the fear of a possible collapse of the weak classroom blocks, which was built and handed over less than 7 years ago. My colleague Carlos Caloni visited the school and came through this report.
Built and handed over in 2016, these classroom blocks, which serve over 6,000 pupils, can best be described as a disaster in waiting. Apart from its leaking roofs, one could feel vibrations all over with deep structural defect coupled with shattered louver glasses. Students here say they have been compelled to vacate the classroom blocks due to the fear of a possible collapse of the fragile structure on them. According to them, they are unable to concentrate in class whenever it rained due to fear and the leakages in the roof, which leads to destruction of their learning materials.
My ability to study is not going on well because, as you know now, the building is vibrating and there is no way we can move there to learn. And as we are under the tree now, there are some insects and certain things on the tree that are, falling on us. And so we don't have the access to even concentrate on what the exams you are writing. We don't concentrate on it.
I quite remember we were in the class and then the number 2 teachers actually came out that we should come out of the class because the building was shaking. We all got afraid and then came out of the classroom. Because of that one, our Form 1s and then Form 2s are not in school. We are the only people in the school, and the building too is just there. No one is in the classroom.
The roof, it leaks. So this destroy our books. When we are writing the exams and it's raining, sometimes we have to stop the papers.
Joy News caught up with some parents who say the government must, as a matter of urgency, come to the aid of the school.
My children are in Zenu KKD, and the building is shaking. So we are afraid of our children's life. So right now, as I'm speaking, our children are in the house. The Form 1, Form 2 are in the house. It is only Form 3 who are writing the mock. That is basically the reason why they are in the school.
Now let's bring in the Municipal Education Director of Pon Katamanso, Harry Evans Arthur. Grateful for joining us. How long has this situation persisted?
Hello, sir.
Hello. I'm trying to find out from you how long this situation has persisted.
It's barely a month that we have been experiencing vibration on this particular block we're talking about. But the current situation in which we find ourselves started only last week, Thursday.
Okay. Now, I'm told you've done some audit of a sort on the superstructure. What did it reveal?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good evening and good evening to your cherished viewers. But before I come to that, can you give me just a minute to correct an erroneous impression created out there, please? In your earlier submission, you did say that 4,000 students in Katamanso are out of school. Please, I'm sorry. It is not true. There are no 4,000 students out of school over here.
So how many students in this particular school are missing school because of the situation?
Hello?
I'm listening to you. Once you are disputing that it is not 4,000, I'm asking you how many pupils are missing school because of the situation at hand.
Okay. This particular block we're talking about houses 4 different schools. Zenu, KKM, GHS 2, 4, 5, and 6. Because of what is happening now, last week, Thursday, in consultation with my regional director, the GHS 1 and 2 students were asked to remain at home for 3 days whilst we put in place measures to ensure their successful comeback. So, as I speak to you, the whole 4 schools are a little over 2,000. So once the Form 3s are out, those who are at home, the GHS 1 and 2s, they are a little above 1,000. They are not even up to 2,000, please.
A little above 1,000. So from the day it started till now, how long have they stayed home?
From Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, and today. So God willing, tomorrow, we have been able to secure a place for them in a private school by name St. Jane. So the GHS 1 and 2 who have been at home for these few days are coming back tomorrow for effective academic work to commence.
Okay, all right. Grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. Now moving to other stories. I feel used and let down by my nation after 38 years of service. That's the story of a retired Commodore of the Ghana Armed Forces who is lamenting the non-payment of bonds when he joined the 3rd day of fresh picketing by Pensioner Bondholders Forum. The Pensioner Bondholders Forum is warning government that they will demand interest payment on all matured principals which have matured since February this year. My colleague James Aveji joined the pensioners as they picketed relentlessly at the Finance Ministry premises. There's more in the following report.
It's been days of total silence from government, but members of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum resumed their picketing Wednesday. Among them was Commodore Samuel Wedu-Anim, retired. He explained how he ended up investing in government bonds.
What I thought I was advised without any aches was the government bonds. I didn't want too much, just a little to first and foremost look after my health and those who rely on me. My mother is with me. Yeah.
How old is she?
She's past 100. Yes, and I have some children and other people I'm looking after. So I do not intend failing them in this responsibility.
The retired soldier says government's inability to pay his coupons amid his failing health makes him feel used by the state.
Maybe we could have gone on a route march, but look at us. I'm drinking some water. During those days when I was in the Ghana Armed Forces, for a period like this, no water was required. But for this little duration, you see, I'm holding water, drinking water, because the body has been used, and I will say by the government. For almost 40 years, over 38 years that I served the Ghana Armed Forces. During my time, I did my best. And my best was amongst the best, both within the country and outside the country. The missions that I went to, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Cambodia, all these places, I didn't feel the country. I did not feel the country. And I'm expecting that the country, at this stage of my life, will not fail me.
Other bondholders have also been narrating how the lack of funds have distorted their plans.
These ladies are both mentally challenged. They need their medication. Without their medication, this lady might have a stroke. This one, me and her will strip naked and go on the streets and shout. We'll do it together. I'll support her. She needs her medication on a daily basis.
You mean if they go on the street, you would go with them?
I will go with them. I will go with them. Because they need their money. If they don't get their money, they don't get their medication, and then they go on the street. Who is supposed to support them? They are my cousins. They are mine. They belong to me. The money I put into the government bonds is also my money. If I'm willing to keep these two, I'm willing to keep my money as well. I need my money. The children also need my money. All these people here need their money.
I was waiting for the coupons to take care of myself and my old mom, who is 84 years. Right now as I'm talking to you, my mom has come all the way from our village, and she stay with me. I don't have much money to take care of her. And every day my mom wake up and they ask me, "Kwesi, sika na ntaban duaye. Kwesi, today bia me mama otiminchen otifie, menye sika e ma emfa nhwe no. E na bewura no ne ho kire na me so me ho kire me. Me masem de me ntimi nka. Tini me hia me kan se aban entua meka."
Reiterating the challenges of the pensioners, convener of the group, Dr. Iduan Anentwi, said government must prepare to pay additional interest on the matured principals.
And when we get the payment, we will write to government to calculate the interest on those principals and pay. If government doesn't pay, we may have to send the matter to SHRAG and ask a state institution to come and defend us that, look, you can't do that.
The group returns Thursday to continue picketing. James Kwesiaveji's report read to you.
Well, welcome back. Time for us to do Showbiz and Becky Bexis. Yeah, you're looking sweet, huh?
Thank you for that. Today we have Prime Spotlight. It's a Wednesday, and guess who we're putting the spotlight on? Abiana. She's the beautiful musician, actually songstress. She's been talking about her passion for the music that she's doing and also all the things that she's been up to. Abiana, everybody.
19th of May, I'm releasing a song with someone you love. Yeah, it sounds like a surprise. I love everybody though. Okay, so it's coming. You there? Say bye. Me now. Come and tell you. Still working. I know I've been nominated. Yeah. It's really an honor and it's truly a pleasure. A pleasure. I'm so grateful for that. It's just that embodiment of what I've seen myself to be before, but it should be better than that. So it takes a lot. I criticize myself a lot because I want to be the best. So it takes a lot.
Why did you choose this music business?
Charlie, I should have been doing my marketing. I have a BSc in marketing. I should have been a marketing manager by now.
So what happened? Why?
It's the passion. I cannot sleep and be dreaming about music and then not do it. and not do. Have you ever heard of the saying, passion doesn't pay? Does it pay you? Of course, it doesn't pay, but in the end, the happiness and the fulfillment is better than I can be making all the money, but am I happy doing what I'm doing to get that money? So that's the fulfillment. After that comes the money as well. So if it's an addition when it comes, it really makes you feel like you've done what you expected to do. And God says, if He gives you a talent, He adds, and He will add the riches to it. He said your talent to make room for you. So that's, ladies and gentlemen, Abiana, everybody.
Yeah, I just did. I mean, how she kissed, the camera was a passionate one, and the song too was very cozy,
Relax for us.
Yeah. Oh, I'm relaxing.
Grace, let's talk about. Have you heard the song "Chain Chain Bien Di Me"?
Oh yeah, yes.
Do you know that it's one of the most sampled songs ever?
I should think so. I should think so.
Well, here is a report of all you need to know about this particular sound coming all the way from Ghana. But before we go, let's talk about Robert De Niro, because he has welcomed his 7th child at the age of 79. Well, congratulations to him. And congratulations to you.
Oh, because?
And because you're hosting the Prime show.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say because I'm a father.
You are. You've been.
But
you're still a father.
And I've been hosting the show long, so.
So congratulations to you. You don't always have an opportunity.
Oh, Becky. Oh, interesting.
Do you want to let me go?
No, I don't want you to.
Stay here and continue the news.
Yeah, because I want you to be here because we're picking some very sad news. You remember yesterday, just about wrapping up the bulletin, one of the issues that we brought up was a collapse of a church building in the Botiano area.
Yeah.
We're learning today that there's a place called Faanaa near Botiano.
Right.
We understand that 10 children have drowned in a river in that part of town. 10 children. And they drowned when they were crossing the river after school.
Wow, sorry.
10
children.
And we understand that the children have been removed and they are being sent to the morgue. This is a very devastating news,
10 children?
Yeah, 10.
Do we have more from anybody? Somebody wants to talk about?
The production is trying so hard so we could speak to some of the relatives. Let me go on to the phone lines now and speak to a relative to one of this deceased. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Becky. So can you do this?
Hello, sir. How are you? Oh, hello, Faanaa.
Hey, Mafola.
I can't blow nuya lejojom na mia to quid.
I know I got them a drone. I love you full of Togodo. I don't have a Afama. We are called a Wavano. I love you on my Wukata Thomas. Oh, never go another. Never come at the public motley. That is the Asiaman Puma of the Motley. I'm not going to
yeah, the V and the social day.
All at Thomas.
Oh, my quill.
Moko.
Ta Yemenya Kahakama block. Ta Fifia Mille Motria.
Yellow Motley, no, Yellow Motley.
I devil no de ope amero over Nyaka Blomole.
Over and Ora.
Hello.
Yay.
Merku unko de
your mouth or
Lekene Kosenya.
Joshua, Merku, you go to Squabona. You of weekend of Gua, of Guavano. Now, Mutella, Cato, Tahoe, Tilla, with that, because of the town, Jam.
Nyaya togbia etan jona gbesi agbegba. Alo egbenye zigbanto de via o chila merele la fima. Awo chi
egbenye zigbanto ni ajo.
Ya no kai susu be jo afi ni ajo.
Mana kui to no go ma saba challenge da egwam. Ina gwanyo.
Yo. Mia da salon la fia mia ka mia pono, but Brace essentially the I just spoke. I don't know who the man is, but I spoke to him and
a relative.
Yeah,
to,
so he's telling me that.
We understand that's the uncle to one.
Okay, that's the uncle. Well, so he's telling me that he just got the news that something of that sort happened, and they are currently at the mortuary, and they've retrieved 6 bodies, but the other 4 is still yet to be retrieved. And I was just speaking to the one of the parents, the mother, and she tells me that they don't really have things of this sort happening, but looks like something happened to the boat.
The bridge. Oh, okay.
Yeah, or so that's the reason why they're having that situation. I am just I know
10 children. That's
10. Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, it is.
And so. Brace, I
anyway,
really don't.
So,
I wasn't expecting
this one.
Yeah, so
no,
supposed to be entertaining people.
Okay, so it means that the search party is still ongoing.
It's still ongoing. According to the uncle, they are currently at the mortuary. They're hoping to find the other 4, but they can report that we have 6 of them are out, but not alive.
Okay, so we understand 8 people have been
no, it's 6 that
have been found,
but the rest of the 4 are still somewhere in the river or water, yet to be found.
Okay, so we understand they've found 2 more.
Wow.
So eight bodies have been retrieved from the river. 2 more. That's how would any parent take this? Your child goes to school and then
I don't know. I think they're just really calm about it.
We're still keeping tabs on this development, and would update our viewers with any further information we do get on this. It will be live on our Facebook page and also on myjoyonline.com. Very, very difficult period that the families will find themselves in. 10 children went to school. On their way back from school, they fell into the river. They drowned, really. They've been able to retrieve 8 of them and have been sent to the mortuary. 2 are still being searched for. But Becky, this is really a hard time for the parent.
Yeah.
It also tells of what we need to do as a country,
right,
to safeguard kids.
Right.
You know,
I know.
Whatever means they were traveling on that this happened
should be looked at.
Yes.
Subsequently, I think we always have these conversations, and it keeps going back to the same old thing. I really don't know what's going on. So we have this conversation. I probably want to call NADMO and all the people that are involved. Do we get to solve the problem, really?
Yeah, that's
because we keep, having all these.
Yeah. That's one question you've asked. Recently, when the Senate East one happened, we understood that the kids were not wearing life jacket. But is that really the solution?
Has it been provided?
That's one question. Another question is that the DCE made us aware that they have land. They want the schools to be built in the area for them. What has happened after that incident happened? Are we waiting for more lives to be lost before. This is heartbreaking.
And do we have to cross rivers to get to school?
Sometimes,
to get
But
education.
safety, we should ensure the safety of the kids.
Right.
It's really, really a very, very sad way to end the bulletin. There's more news on my jawline.com.